I gonna harm my baby even more by going to the hospital, or am I safer at home and trying to take care of myself? Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing well, baby's doing well, and if you don't know me, my name's Gabriella. On Tuesday, I turned 35 weeks pregnant, and I just wanted to share probably like the scariest experience that I've had this pregnancy, and it happened on Monday. And it was just a crazy day. I went to the ER during COVID while being pregnant with diabetes. It was just a scary experience, so I'm just going to tell that little story. So on Monday was super busy day. I usually wake up around 6 a.m. every day, just naturally. I'll get out of bed around 7:30. That's when I'll usually take my insulin. So I take 2 insulins. I take one that lasts all day, and then I take another one if I need a correction. And I don't think that was the case that morning on Monday. I didn't need to take a correction or anything. But anyways, on that day, I ended up getting out of bed at 6. So I was like, oh, it's kind of early, too early to take the long-acting insulin, so I'll just wait. And I'll start about my day, and then I'll come back around 7:30, and I'll just take it. So I started getting busy. I swept my house, I mopped all the floors, I fed the dog. I think I did laundry too. I took a shower, and then I had to start getting ready because I had an NST. Right after that, I didn't even get home. I went to my grandma's because she was making lunch. So I went there, but I couldn't stay that long because I was taking my maternity pictures that day. So then I had to come home, get ready real quick, and it took longer than I expected. I was just so unprepared, and I was like kind of stressed out, and I had said in like a previous video that my blood sugar's been tending to run low throughout my whole pregnancy, so they were good the whole day. Like when I ate lunch, it was like really low carb lunch, so I didn't even take insulin for that. And for breakfast, I just had like a protein bar on the way to the doctor, and I didn't take insulin for that. So my blood sugar was really good all day. My pictures, we were scheduled to meet up with my friend who was taking them for us at 1. We ended up meeting her at 1:30. When we got there, I was like feeling kind of weird, and I ended up having to take a correction because I was like at 200, and usually my lunch doesn't do that to me. So I was like, okay, whatever, like I'll just take the correction, it'll go down. If anything, I'm gonna get low, so I just have my juices in the car, my snacks or whatever. I just wasn't feeling that great, and I did take a correction around 1:30 when we got there. So it's like, well, I should start feeling better if my blood sugar is going normal or going low. Like I didn't have that low feeling. And I ended up asking my boyfriend during our shoot, like, can you run to the car and go get me water? Like, I need water. I'm not feeling well. We got home around 3, and I was even higher. I was like 270. That's weird. So let me take another correction, and that should kind of boost it down a little bit. By like 4 o'clock, 4:30, I was like almost 400, and I was like, something's not right. So I went to the bathroom and I tested my ketones because I always keep like the little ketone sticks in there just in case I ever need them. So I tested them and they were large, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so bad. Like my blood sugar has been around 200 or over 200 since like noon probably. It's like 4:30. Like that's too long. Like I'm starting to worry, like, am I harming my baby? I had just been high for so long and I wasn't feeling well. My boyfriend was in his like game room doing his own thing, so he left me alone so I could take a nap to try to feel better, and I was drinking water and I just was not feeling better. And so once I saw that my ketones were large, I like looked back on my phone and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even take my NPH, which is the insulin that lasts all day. So I had not been covered all day. But since I tend to naturally run low, it didn't really affect me until noon, afternoon. That's when my blood sugar shot up and it wouldn't come down. So I was like, oh my gosh. I immediately started crying my eyes out because I was so scared. I was like, I'm like not even technically a mother and I'm already failing. Like, literally, like I can't even take care of my own child, let alone myself. And that's like my only job, the one thing I had to remember. I couldn't even remember to do. Like, I literally felt like such a failure already. So I was just bawling. And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, like, are you in the area? And she's like, yeah, I'm nearby. And I was like, can you come, like, after you're done doing your errands? She's like, I'm coming right now. And I was like, no, like, you can wait till after, but can you just come over? And she was just like, yes, I'm coming. And so I hung up. And, like, she didn't even ask me. She didn't even ask me what was wrong. I knew when she heard me crying that she was already scared. Like, I don't even know what would have been running through her head. Like, when you hear someone's voice on the phone, like how she heard my voice, she probably thought the worst, but didn't even know what the worst was. So she was just like, I'm coming over. So I ended up texting her right after I hung up. I can't be high for this long, so I think I need to go to the doctor. She took me to the ER. By the time we got to the hospital, it was like 5 o'clock, almost 5:30, and I could see that my blood sugar was going down. It was like at 200, but I still had large ketones, so that was my biggest concern. And I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going into DKA, which is like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just when you get really sick because of your blood sugar and like your blood starts getting acidic, so that's really bad. And when you're pregnant, it's easier to fall into that sickness. So I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't happening to me, because I've been to the hospital many times for that and it doesn't feel good, let alone when you're pregnant. I didn't want to hurt my baby. I was kind of worried, like, am I gonna harm my baby even more by going to the hospital, or am I safer at home and trying to take care of myself? That was the biggest decision. But a lot of people were telling me, like, it's good that you went to the hospital, like that was the best choice. And it really was, even though honestly nothing happened at the hospital. Like, I went because the thing I needed was fluids. They didn't give me an IV with fluids. They didn't give me insulin, which I didn't need because my blood sugar was going back to the normal range. It was just, like I said, my ketones that I was worried about. They just did like blood draws and tests and urine tests. And I wasn't going into DKA yet, so I caught it early. But they confirmed that, yeah, I was spilling ketones into my urine, which isn't good. So that whole process takes a long time. And at least I got checked, because they do tests that I can't do at home, so that's good. And just going in general wasn't a big issue. There was nobody in the ER, so I felt pretty safe. I've been telling people that it's so funny. I wish I took pictures, because the doctors would walk around in what I call like scuba diving gear. They would wear helmets and masks and like have oxygen tanks hooked up to them, and it was just really crazy. But yeah, everything turned out good. And before I left, they ended up checking on the baby. I did another NST, even though I had done one that morning. I did another one just to make sure she was okay and everything was normal. So that was good. So I ended up getting home around 10 at night, 10:30. And the worst part was that they wouldn't let my mom in. So she was literally sitting in the hospital parking lot for 5 hours waiting for me while I was in the ER. And I just felt so bad. I'm like, wow. I literally have like the best mom, the best role model there. And I'm here in the ER because I'm a failure at a mom already. It goes to show that when you become a mom, like, you'll do anything for your kids. Like, if I wasn't pregnant and I was feeling those symptoms, I wouldn't have gone to the hospital. I would have just stayed home and tried to take care of it myself. But I knew that since I have a baby, that it's like I'm going for the baby. Like, I'm going to check on the baby. So just like how my mom stayed there waiting for 5 hours, she would have stayed there waiting for 2 days if I was there for 2 days. I learn a lot from her, and that I would do that too. I mean, it sounds crazy, and I really feel bad for her staying there, but when I think about it, I would do that too. I really would, you know, no matter what. So then that night, I ended up getting low, of course, just because it's the routine that happens. I just get low all the time. So then when I woke up the next morning, it just like resetted. So I'm normal now, I guess you could say, as normal as I can be. I'm back on my track, and hopefully I don't miss any more doses, because that wasn't fun and that was really scary. Don't be scared. Like, do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, especially when you're pregnant. Like, if you think something is stupid, like an issue, like, oh, I don't feel well, it's like, well, it doesn't hurt to go get checked. So for me, it was like better safe than sorry, even though everything turned out okay. And then I had a doctor's appointment the next day anyways, so I saw the doctor, and she was like, yeah, that was a good idea that you went. So everything turned out great. And that's just the little update that I have for today. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm having a great day so far, and hopefully the rest of this journey is not as bumpy as Monday was.